Without AI, I wouldn't have an Instagram presence, a presence on Instagram.
The thing that I like the most is it's just so simple. People are trying to overthink these AI projects way, way, way too much. Hey everybody, welcome back to AI with Bry, the show where we dive deep into how to learn, leverage, and lead with AI. I'm your host, Brian Denstead. I'm a technologist, strategist, and someone deeply curious about how AI is reshaping our lives and our work. Each week, I'm joined by a guest who's making waves in the AI world, and together we're going to explore what they've learned, how they're applying it, and how they're helping others step into the future. Today, I'm thrilled to welcome Federico Nagy. He is the co-founder of Way2Go Data, and Federico is a work center. All of his work is centered around harnessing data and driving AI to smarter, more responsible decision making. So I believe you're building solutions that help organizations transform raw data into real intelligence. And I know you have a ton of wealth of knowledge and insights that you're going to share in practical and meaningful ways. So I'm really looking forward to speaking to you, and welcome to the show.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you for the introduction, and it's a pleasure being here. Yes, as you said, I have a ton of experience in AI. Lately, I've been focusing more in the healthcare and health tech sector. But over the course of 10 years, I worked across many industries from banking, credit, fintech, telecommunications, and insurance as well. So, well, I can't wait to get started.
I love it. Yeah, no, you bring a wealth of knowledge. So I'm looking forward to it. Well, let's really start with the learn segment. What is something that you've been learning recently about AI that's like shifted the way you think about it?
Oh, good question. Well, to be fair, it's not something that I've learned, but it's something that I learned personally, like through books or articles and so on. Like most of my learning recently is coming from speaking with other professionals that they own startups or like small medium enterprises which don't have AI as their core product, but they're trying to embed AI in their solutions in a smart way that helps them more with their operations and to better interface themselves with the users as well. Um, like reading articles online, like the discussion boards and everything, like it feels like the current generation of AI, like generative AI, is what it was suited, of course, for user support, customer support, and all these text-heavy operations. But like in the background, like talking with other people, I came across very interesting use cases, which they're sparked from the imagination of these amazing founders I've met through the past few weeks, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely. Like unpack that for us a little bit more. Like what are some of the lessons you've learned while just building Way2Go Data, especially around AI and maybe data integration?
Yes. Well, it's not just about Way2Go data, like lessons about building Way2Go data, but those are lessons I've learned through my whole career.
Mm-hmm.
My mantra throughout these 10 years has always been it's not much about the model, it's always about the data. And I've made the like best strides in the products I've built for the companies I've worked with, like always working more on the data, on the quality of data, on the features I was going to build, and the full keeping the transformation pipeline going smoothly so that I was able to deliver value to the customer. Like the model, when I think about it, and like also like there was a paper from Google that is, I don't know, a decade old or more, where it shows like what are the components of a data product in an organization, and the model is very little part. It is at the center, but it's very very little, and it's not the model that's gonna change the results of a model, like the prediction power or how good it works. It's more the data that's been fed into that actually makes a difference.
Very cool. I agree. I think as I help people as a CTO understand their data, like everybody's coming to me asking that question. Um, I've got a bunch of data, Brian. How do I get it to the AI? How do I monetize it? How do I, figure out the insights that I'm not thinking about it? Like, what advice would you give to leaders who want to learn AI without drowning in that technical jargon and make proper sense of the data that they may have and they want to do something with it?
Uh, I, well, my advice is always starting from the problem and not the solution. Like AI is a solution. It's a technological tool, as it can be a CRM software. Okay, we don't start from the CRM software and work backwards to the problem, but like we start, okay, we have a problem managing our customer, the interaction we have with them, and so we choose a CRM software that suits our needs. And with AI is the same thing. You start from a business problem, and technology, especially nowadays, is never really a blocker from us. Like it's hardly has been a blocker in the past, and like hardly even more today is a blocker as well. Yeah, as I said, sorry, you start from the solution.
Yeah.
You start from the solution, your business problems. You're trying to also you look towards your business goal, and then from there you derive a strategy on where AI can help you like make advancement quicker and like with better quality to achieve those goals in the future. And then the technical side, well, like you talk with the with CTOs like you,
Yeah.
Brian, or professionals like me, and there's definitely a solution that could suit your needs for sure.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, thinking about, oh, I need to do AI because like everybody's talking about AI, like that's not gonna work. Just gonna cost you a lot of money, a lot of time, and it drives away from your actual goal, which is serving customers.
Hmm. And I want to help unpack that more because I think you hit on a really, really important point. That's at the leadership level there, right? Well, maybe we'll come to that
Yep.
in the leadership segment a little bit, but if we tease that out a little bit more, like you're building tools and solutions that way to go data, like how are you seeing AI get put to work in a really, really practical way? Maybe you could give us a couple examples of
Uh,
how to leverage AI in day to day work, and then we'll talk
yes,
about that bigger
absolutely.
thing.
Absolutely. Like in the day-to-day work, uh, a nice use of AI that I've discovered quite recently is to create newsletters, but like not just like the general newsletters. I worked with a consultancy company recently. They wanted to have a personalized newsletter sent to their clients. Like they have clients all over the world,
Hmm.
and they work in a highly regulated field. So like sending out a generic newsletter doesn't really work. Is not a great value for for the customer. So they're using AI to actually select the best articles for their specific audience, but just not general audience. It's the individual. So it's this very high level of personalization that AI can bring us. That can bring like can definitely unlock way more value for the customer rather than having a massive email sent. That like you don't know how of interest can be for everybody. Like there's gonna be a bit for everyone, but like it's it's gonna come across way too generic.
Yeah, yeah,
So yeah, helping with that is definitely something that a company can do. And sorry, one can I add another
yeah. No,
example?
please, yeah.
Yeah, this is very simple, but like I've talked with the founder of a startup. They're in the pre-seed stage. They just launched an app about pet care, and I've asked her like, how is AI enabling you in your work? Like, how is it helping you? And she told me, well, the AI writes the like I let AI write the how they call it, the description of the post on Instagram. Like without AI, I wouldn't have an Instagram presence, a presence on Instagram because I don't have time for it.
Hmm.
So that opens up another channel of communication for the company, another channel of marketing and advertising, and to gather leads or customers that it wasn't possible before at a much lower cost.
Yeah.
Which is $20 because she was using just ChatGPT Pro.
Yeah.
So that's it. Like that, this is how it can help you, like on a day to day, like from small use cases like writing Instagram captions to like more intricate use cases, like could be personalizing a newsletter.
Yeah. And I think it's like, if you look at it, like those are just some of the problems, right? Like, where the world is so complicated, there's so many things you should be doing. It's not just Instagram, it's Blue Sky, X, YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, Threads. I mean, the list goes on and on and on, right? And so
Exactly.
I think the ability, the thing that I like the most about the example that you gave is it's just so simple, right? Like, I think people are trying to overthink these AI projects way, way, way too much, right? And right
Right.
now, most businesses are not posting on social media, or posting the same exact thing across one or two platforms, or maybe, if you're lucky, posting the right thing to all platforms, right? But
Excellent.
with
Yeah.
just a simple little automation, you can say, my audience on Instagram is more food oriented than travel oriented, or whatever those little slight variations are because of some community or algorithm tweak that one platform did versus the other. And if you can customize that to target a little bit better to those audiences, it will give you that leg up. So I just love
Exactly.
those little small incremental things that AI can let us do. And it can be as simple as just going to Grok or GPT or Claude and saying, give me a custom Instagram one for this picture or whatever. But you can take it to the next. I guess the three levels of the AI that I really see are, like AI helping me day to day. And then
Yeah.
there's AI workflows, and then there's like true agentic, like it's thinking on its own and making some decisions, right? So those three
Right.
layers, and you got to start small and work your way up the chain on some of those things. How are you taking some of those simple examples that move the needle, in my opinion, a big way? Personalization is a key component of what AI can do for us. How are
Yeah.
you helping clients on the levels of it, and or unlocking that personalization?
Well, the first thing I do with clients usually that I offer them is giving them an assessment of the current infrastructure and also understanding what they're like, talking with them to understand what their ideas are about implementing AI and what current problems they're facing in their day-to-day operation. So once I have all this data with me, I create three solutions. One each is fully manual, like using Claude, ChatGPT, Grok, whichever LLM that is commercially available, uh, so that they start having an idea on how the process flow may go on and what kind of problems they may encounter if we're going to automate it this further.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'm going to move them to a no-code solution, which is an intermediate step that you can or cannot take, so that they start understanding how to think in systems. So, okay, automation, this triggers the next step, that triggers the next step, and then I have the output, and I'll take it from there. And the third one is the fully automated system, which is like it's where you want to be. So you know what you want to automate first. You know what problems you're going to encounter. You know you're going to set up the fail safes and the tests. So you make sure that the output doesn't do or say or result in anything you don't want to have. And at the same time, and at the end, when you have the output, like you also need to evaluate it. Like if you think of agents today, like they're starting to become more and more complex
Mm-hmm.
because we get more understanding with them. We're adding more tools. The models are getting more powerful, so they're able to handle even more tools and calls and operations. But like it's like all companies are definitely unsure whether they have to like let this agent be and run freely in their operations, because like they don't have a window where they can see whether the agent is behaving well or not. So like evaluation becomes a very important step in the process, and it's basically this step where the human must intervene and look at to actually make sure that the AI is behaving properly as intended. So yeah, once you have automation, like automation cannot be without evaluation.
That's right.
And a human in the loop.
It's crawl, walk, run, right? I mean, it's like really like take your theory and do it manually first, prove that it works, and then spend the money automating it. And then once it's automated, like give it to the agentic layer and try and get it to think on its own, or take the human checkpoints out in some fashion if you can. Like it's really that simple of a process here. I mean, I think that all really comes back to the last thing that I really want to talk about with us is the leadership side of it. Like you touched on something earlier that I think is just a hidden gem that a lot of leaders really, really need to hear is what is the problem that you're trying to solve? Right. And I think so many people are excited that they saw the new bicycle go by, or they saw the new convertible drive by, or the new sunglasses, or whatever that is. And AI is that right now, right? Like we see this thing and we want to latch onto it. And so we're like, let's go buy AI and do something with it. But we haven't really defined the problem, right?
Exactly.
So how would you talk to leaders, or like help me unpack this problem angle a little bit more, and what you do to help tease out what the problem is when maybe the leader doesn't know what their problem is?
Oh, that's difficult. Like it's difficult to put in a general, in a general framework. But I always start to say like AI only gives an output. So it definitely can, like it's a multiplier of value. It's not going to replace your people. It's not going to turn your processes upside down. It just enables them to deliver more value faster. So that's the first thing I tell them.
Very well said. More value faster. I agree completely.
Yeah. And it's not a magic wand that it's like exactly like you snap your fingers and already the company is skyrocketing in its evaluation. No, it's not that. Like it takes time, even sometimes 1 year, to come from a proof of concept to a fully deployed solution. And the way to start, the way to unpack their problems is I let them talk easily. I let them talk on their day-to-day. I have meetings with them and their first the first line operation. I let them describe the workflow, and I'll tell them, okay, like if you actually have a magic wand, what would you see like happening in this workflow? Right? And so I gather the pain points this way. Once I know the pain points, then I can understand how AI can help ease those pain points first with generative AI, but also like we still have traditional AI at our hand, right? And then it's like I suggest more solution with traditional AI or even business intelligence. So you have no idea how many companies, even mid-sized companies, don't have insight on their data. It's incredible. And sometimes like even a simple bar chart can deliver so much value to take further decision, and which is a simple and cost-effective solution. Then you think about AI, because like to build that bar chart, like we need to have the data, and the data needs to be in a certain quality. And once we have that certain quality, then like, okay, bar chart is first thing, quick win. Then we'll think about AI, which is traditional or generative.
I have found, I agree with you, because like I have found that going in with, hey, I'm going to help you evaluate your AI components, and I find a lot of those things where I don't really need AI. I just need an automation to help me get that data into the right place, or we just need a data chart or a graph or an output. And like, it's all, you're using the AI as an opportunity to reevaluate all of your current processes and see if there's a
Hmm.
place for AI. But half the time, it's just you need an automation. You need to just,
Exactly.
right. So that's the tricky thing. What's the the other thing for me is like I think the example of what you were trying to say was there are some really small wins that you can do by evaluating your current processes, but really I love like just getting them to talk about like what's keeping you up at night, right? Is it new
Right.
sales? Is it new sales, or is it like you have too many sales and you're losing them, or is it taking too much money to implement and we have to trim that down so the implementation cost is cheaper, or is it taking too long to implement? Like where is the problem? And then let's go tackle that problem and look at the process, document it, and then see if there's opportunities for AI to plug in to take 30 minutes of the human's time off of the table. So like, yeah, that's spot on as an evaluation.
Yeah.
um, do you have any frameworks or principles that you lean on when you're talking to clients about AI strategy?
Uh, the framework is we start with data. We start with data and fixing their data pipelines, how the data flows into the company and how the communication happens. So data first, improvements later.
Yeah,
Like improvements, like application of AI later.
very good.
Which like already fixing the data pipelines is an improvement.
That's right. That's right.
Even yeah.
You've got one of the hardest jobs at a company as like a co-founder. What are some tips that you would give other leaders that guide your teams, guide your process through AI driven change, I call it?
Um, well, the pros like the what I would say is that don't be scared about AI. Like it's not going to replace you. Everybody is as fear being replaced, especially in the healthcare sectors. Like there's a lot of resistance between like especially older doctors, like the
Hmm.
previous generation of doctors. But like if you think about it, AI is probably the second most used. The second most used case about AI is about mental health. It's people
Hmm.
using AI as a psychologist, and psychologists like are actually scared of it, of losing their job. But like it's different. It's different. Like the AI is not thinking. Like we call it thinking. Like they call it thinking because they're trying. It's marketing. They're trying to sell you a product, a
Hmm.
functionality. But like it doesn't have the same kind of thinking and context and wealth of experience a human has, a person has.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, try and integrate AI. Like use it as a tool, as you would use a hammer, as a screwdriver, your phone. You use AI. It's nothing to be ashamed of. No, it's not going to replace you, and definitely you're gonna add more value to the output you're gonna get from the AI than the other way around.
Yeah. I think the two analogies I like to tell people are 100 years ago, at least in America, 40-50% of people were farmers. And now you
Mm.
fast forward to today, and I think less than 1% of Americans are farmers. And like we have a lot of programmers, we have a lot of knowledge workers, and we're telling them that those are a lot of those jobs are going to go away, but you're going to change to some other job that's even cooler. So like I'm not afraid of that. And then the the piece of it that you were touching on there is around, gosh, what was it? Around like people shouldn't be afraid of it. It's just this tool,
It's just a
and
tool, yeah.
it's just this thing that you can wield on that front, but it's going to help you go so much better. Like I feel like it's going to usher this new renaissance age in for all of
Excellent.
us, right? So
Right.
this
Correct.
has been a lot of fun to unpack with you, Federico. Um, what's the best way for people to get in touch with you, to learn more, to get to know you, and Way to Go Data?
Okay, so well, it's been lots of fun for me as well, Brian. Like I was very excited starting this podcast, and like I'm still. It's been a very pleasant half an hour, more or less. If you want to get in touch with me, you can look me up on LinkedIn. My name is Federico Nagy, spelled Nagy. And also you can check out my website at way2godata.com. Way2godata is spelled as a single word. I've just redesigned the website. New colors and a new graphic scheme, like all done by me. Like I got so much fun.
Very cool. I got a question for you, because I was talking with somebody earlier about this. Did you vibe code the website, or are you using a framework or template?
I'm using WordPress,
okay.
Which is highly regretted it.
It's one of those weird things, because I was talking with another developer. Just for us, we're going to geek out for 2 seconds for our listeners here, because it's that catch-22 of like, it might take a little while to get the website where you want it to go vibe coding, but whenever you want to make a change, that change is probably one quick little prompt away. And for you to go make that change in WordPress or Wix or Squarespace, whatever, it is probably 20 minutes to half an hour to make that little change. So yeah, it's really interesting. I think there's a strong split on web design in a big way. But sorry, way2godata.com and on LinkedIn. Anything else that you want to tell us that's up and coming with what you've got going on?
Yes, I've just published my new package offer on my website, which is specifically geared towards the healthcare professional. It's a 90-day MVP roadmap. So it takes you from 0 to 1 in your AI journey, but also like if you're already at 1, from 1 to 2, like cool. We don't discriminate. It's geared towards small, medium enterprises and startups, which have already some funding with them. So like I would say, like more like scale ups or like Series A, Series A level. And it takes you from starting with the business understanding and definition on the MVPs to a gap analysis, but also I'm going to offer you support throughout the full program, and not only for 90 days, but like there's a year support where with one-on-one calls with me. So like I'm sure you're not going to go off-road, and also some upskilling for your team, as in like trying to ease off this fear of AI and trying to embrace the change within your company culture. Like I worked with full September to come up with this package, and it's really good value for sure for a very little price.
That's awesome. Well, I hope a lot of our listeners reach out and talk to you about that package. I think everybody needs some sort of AI strategist like you and I to help guide them on their journey and truly see the value of where AI can take you. So we appreciate you putting that package together and hope people check it out.
Thank you, Brian.
Federico, thank you so much for joining me today. I really loved hearing your perspective on learning, leveraging, and leading with AI with me. If everybody out there is listening and enjoying this episode, please make sure you follow our podcast. Leave us a review. I want your feedback. I want to know what we want to do better on this show, what you want to hear, or share it with somebody else that might be curious about how AI is going to change our lives. You can find more information again about Federico Nagy at way2godata.com and on LinkedIn. I'll make sure I have all those links in the show notes down below, so check those out. Once again, I'm Brian Denstead. This is AI with Bry, and we'll see you next week. And remember, the future doesn't wait, so learn, leverage, and lead with AI. This episode of AI with Bry was hosted and produced by me, Brian Denstead. Produced with help from Nancy Velasquez and Kelly Lopez. Video by Leo Moralina. Sound AI generated. Find us on all platforms at AI with Bry and visit ai.bry.net for more. Learn, leverage, lead.